Hey there, welcome back. It's Covering Your Health with Evelyn Erives, presented by IEHP. We have got a fun episode for you today. This is an episode actually that I have been looking forward to for a long time. Actually, I wanted to do this in season one because the person I'm going to introduce you to today is very special to me, a very sweet friend of mine, and she's putting together a very cool event that does very big things in the cancer world. She actually is a four-time cancer survivor, and she is just a ball of energy and light. I'm going to introduce you to my sweet friend, Dianne Callahan, who I met years ago and has become one of those people in my life that I feel I can always lean on for some positive advice. And I think you're gonna love her. Now, her event that she's putting on is something that I think everybody could love. It's about fashion. Yes, it is called the Survivor Strut. And this is actually the ninth year that she's putting this beautiful fundraising event on that everybody can support, even if you can't make it on the day. It's taking place on Saturday, May 10th at the wonderful Garner Holt Productions in Redlands, excuse me. And all of the money raised is going to back to the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society and fund research for better treatments and better outcomes and cures for blood cancer. It's another cause that's very near and dear to my heart if you know my own backstory. Dianne Callahan is a person that you will know in the first few minutes of this episode why she is so special, and you will want to listen to the entire thing. I'll tell you right now, I am overjoyed to bring you my sweet friend and welcome Dianne Callahan to the Covering Your Health podcast.
Welcome to Covering Your Health, a wellness podcast dedicated to covering all areas of living a healthy and happy lifestyle. From healthy hearts to understanding health plans and everything in between, each episode will provide you with a better understanding of managing your health, preventative care, and staying on the right path for your family's wellness journey. The Covering Your Health podcast is presented by IEHP. Now, your host, Evelyn Erives.
Well, here we go. Welcome, Dianne. How are you?
So good. It's been crazy, good, busy, wonderful.
Okay, we're going to start really quickly. Usually I start with a backstory, but first, you're in a casino. I am loving it right now. So I heard you came from Vegas to Morongo. So you're in Morongo right now. Now,
Yes.
are you just a huge gambler, or what do we need to know about you? And do I need to put you do we need an intervention? What's happening?
I may need an intervention, but I don't gamble at all. I don't gamble. I want to see where my money is. So I want to know where my shoes are. That's where my money is. Right.
Yes.
I was in Vegas till just late last night with my best friend, pitching a product that she's invented.
Oh my gosh.
And so we were at this inventors ASD showcase.
Yeah.
In the convention center since last week.
Yeah.
And then we heard that Shark Tank is having open casting today. So we drove down last night, got a hotel, stood in the rain, thus the hairdo, and got a wristband. And so we're going to be pitching to Shark Tank at noon.
What? That's crazy. And
know,
so
it's
cool.
crazy.
That is so cool. Oh my gosh.
I know.
Okay, well, I won't go into detail with that because patent pending, and I don't want you to spill. But I hope you guys make the show. How cool!
Well, why wouldn't we make the show?
Why wouldn't
right?
you? With
the
you,
product's awesome. We're awesome.
you guys, yeah, I know you're fun too. You guys have great personalities, very TV ready. Yeah. Well, let's let everybody know who doesn't know about you. Dianne Callahan, tell us your backstory. Let's take it way back. What made you become what you are today? Where did you always know as a child, I'm going to be an author, I'm going to inspire a million people, I'm going to be a woman of the year? I mean, where did all that come from?
Well, okay. Way back in the day, remember all of the magazines that you could buy at the grocery store, like Women's Day, Ladies Home Journal, Red Book, Most of them are out of business now,
Yeah.
but back
Yeah.
in the day, they were called the Seven Sisters, and they were ladies' magazines, and they were sold at the grocery store by the register,
Yeah.
marketed to mostly stay-at-home moms. Okay, so my mom loved those magazines. She was like one of the original full-time mom, full-time worker, 5 kids, full-time job, and she loved those magazines.
Oh,
So
wow.
when I would dust the living room and I would dust the coffee table, I would fan them out on the coffee table so you could see all the titles. And I didn't read the recipes, God no. But in the back, there was always like a one-page story that was an inspirational story. Somebody who had overcome, almost always a woman, because that was the audience, a woman who had overcome an illness, a loss, a something, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then went on to become stronger because of it, and then to inspire or help other people. And I remember thinking, if I have to overcome something, I hope I can be like that and be positive and help inspire other people.
Wow.
And I don't know if I read those articles because there was something I knew that down the line I was going to need that model for me, or if I focused so much on having to overcome things, God gave me plenty of them, but somehow along the way, I got here to where I've gone through a lot, and I'm just here for it. And my job
Yeah.
is to encourage people.
So I feel like what you did was you spoke it into existence.
Yep. Kind of wish I hadn't, but okay.
Well, I think you spoke into existence the positive attitude. I don't think you spoke into existence the things that you were going to tackle along the way. You know what I mean? I think that you
Yeah.
spoke into existence that you would be a positive, inspiring person, whatever came your way.
Whatever it needed to be about. I think
Yeah.
I'm gonna, yeah, I think you're right.
I
I
mean,
think you're
that's
right.
when I think about you, that's what I think about anyway. Like I always think, I'm like, gosh, she's so positive about everything all of the time. How does she do it? I know, no, you are.
And
Well,
you know
that
it's
is
not like drugs or anything,
I've
usually.
never seen it, so no, I believe it. Well, that is
You're
so cool.
funny.
It's so strange that it would start with just that simple thing of I would dust things, I would read the little back of something and go, gosh, I want to be like that. I want to have a story like that. Yeah. Very, very
Yeah.
cool. And how many siblings did you grow up with?
I'm one of five.
Five. You said
So I'm
five.
number four of
Mm-hmm.
five. And the funny thing is, so they call it the first family. They were real close in age, like 2 years, 3 years. And then
Yeah.
it was almost 9 years before I showed up.
Oh,
And then my
wow.
younger sister was almost 5 years, like 4.5 years. And my parents said they moved here from North Dakota
Yeah.
in 1960. And I thought they just got a little frisky because they were in California
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I was an accident. And my dad's
Yes.
like, no, we said, this is what we're here to do. And we're good at being parents.
Yes.
So let's
Oh.
have some more kids.
That's that's amazing. I
I
mean,
know.
I feel like that would be my husband in my story too. Like, you know what? We have the means now again and we love it. Let's have kids
Mhm.
again.
And
That's cool. I
they
like
would
that.
always say that we kept them young. My younger sister Julie and I kept them young.
Yeah, yeah.
So I'll take it.
That's
I'll take it.
cool. That's
Yeah.
so cool. So you got to kind of be like the oldest child, even though you were the youngest to your sister.
Yeah, so I was like the youngest of the oldest,
Yeah.
the middle child, and the oldest of the youngest.
Yeah. The
So
oldest
I'm
of
a
the
little
youngest.
bit of everything.
You are. You got all of it. I don't know if that birthplace or that, you know what they say, like birthplace, there's always like a syndrome. Oh, the middle kid's this way. And then this is, I
Hmm.
wonder like where you fall in that with that dynamic. It's so interesting.
I think I just fall out.
Could be. Okay, so let's talk about your inspiring journey. Let's
Yeah,
talk about that. You are a four-time cancer survivor, which
yeah,
freaking blows my mind every time I tell someone your story. And I'm talking about you because I talk about you all the time. Um, you were first diagnosed years ago. Tell us
yeah.
about that. What happened? What was that like for you? And
So,
what was the diagnosis originally?
okay, so in 2005, my 17-year marriage ended. Okay. So that was an ending point. And then the first signs of being sick started in 2006, but they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. Like I literally had hair falling out in big empty circles and
Oh.
immune stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Then in 2007, I meet my who is now my real husband. That's what I call him, Mr. Wonderful. And 3 months later, I end up in the hospital because all this pain was happening in all my bones and everywhere. We could not figure it out. And
Wow.
so next thing you know, we're doing bone marrow biopsies and every painful test known to man.
Mm.
And then we knew that I had stage 4 aggressive non-Hodgkin's lymphoma.
My
And
gosh.
it was in all in my lymph nodes through my whole body and my bone marrow. So when they did the bone marrow biopsy, when it comes out, it's supposed to be juicy, bright red, right? Mine came out milky pink because
Oh,
the cancer cells were eating all that blood.
yeah. And
So,
and you saw, gosh, so stage 4, I mean, you saw some initial symptoms that you just didn't even think to go and try to figure out why that was happening.
right.
You were
I
in a
kept it
different
to the
headspace
doctor
too.
and
Yeah.
yeah, we couldn't figure it out. And then I had a lymph node here that was enlarged. So I biopsied that in the hospital. And then we figured out how bad it was.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
oncologist years later, that the day we met, I was at death's door. And he told my family, he's like, we're going to do the best we can.
Wow.
And he did.
Yeah,
And
he
here I
did. And here you are. So,
am.
is that when you first got involved with the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society? It was after that very first initial diagnosis?
Yeah. So I did about 6 months of really hardcore aggressive chemo because we had to like kill this thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I got a remission in January of 2008. And so here's what's happening. I was on the computer looking for because we knew one of the drugs, the immunotherapy drug, Rituxan, was found by a researcher funded by LLS.
Wow.
So so let me just say, the night we found out I had stage 4 cancer, I told him he should run and go meet some other woman who could help him finish raising his kids. And he said, when God gives you a gift, you don't give it back. And then he said, I already know I want to spend the rest of my life taking care of you. So will you marry me? Right there in the Kaiser Resort and Spa. And I said, yes. So, so we were engaged and I'm in remission and I'm on
Mm-hmm.
the computer looking up the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society thinking, we got to do something. We got to give back. And so I first saw Team in Training, right? I'm like, this is so cool. They teach you how to raise money and they help you get ready for a marathon, which you know all too well. And he said, do they have anything else? Literally any other thing? Because
Don't
we
make
met
me
on,
run.
no. And he said, because we met on Match.com and in his profile, he said, if you're looking for someone to go like rock climbing with, I'm not your guy. Because he's an IT nerd, right? And so he's like, Dianne, what else? Anything but that. And so I found the Light the Night Walk at Angel
Hmm.
Stadium. And I'm like, well, how about that? We could do it. We could get our whole family to go. We could make a team. And so I was like, sign me up. So
Yeah.
that's what
Yeah.
happened. So that's how it started.
So cool. What was the name of your team? I love it.
Okay, well, the name of our team was Team I Do because um the market the PR people had asked if they could sort of pimp out my story to the media,
Yeah.
the national LLS people. I'm like, that's what I do for a living, so that's great, fine.
Just go
And then
ahead.
they called me up and they're like, hey, would you like to go ahead and have your wedding at Angel Stadium at the walk? And I said, okay, now we've gone
Are we going
into
too
the
far?
abyss. One step too far. I will do almost anything for you, but I don't think I'll do that. But what we did do is we combined our wedding with the walk. So we got married in our backyard on a Friday night. And then I got a bus donated. And on Saturday, everybody from the wedding jumped on the bus and we went to Angel Stadium And we walked as Team I Do because we just said I do. But more importantly, I was thinking, well, who wants to cure cancer? We
Yeah.
can all say I do to that.
Yes.
So we can all say I do. You don't have to get
Can.
married.
Yep, that's true. That is true.
Yeah.
Wow. Oh my gosh. I know I remember the first time you told me your team name and the reasoning behind it. I thought that's so cool. I love that. Let's talk Survivor Strut. Now, did it
Yeah.
start then? How early did I know I've seen Survivor Strut through many iterations. I met you in 2009, so it was very
Yeah.
long after Team I Do and all of that. But when I met you, you were working for LLS at that point.
Yeah. So here's what happened. In 2000, I started Survivor Strut in 2008. It was
Mm-hmm.
part of our fundraising that very first year because, and here's why. I love clothes, as you know. And I also, I know that when you go through cancer, it takes a toll on you,
Yeah.
and you feel differently about yourself and your looks, and you lose your hair, and all this stuff.
Everything.
And so I thought,
Mm-hmm.
let's do something that just celebrates that we're still here and we're beautiful no matter what stage we're in.
Yeah.
If you have hair, you don't have hair. If you have a port, which I did, but don't have a port. If you've got scars, which I did. So the very first Survivor Strut happened in Riverside,
Mm-hmm.
and we had about 12 women of all different ages. And we strutted our stuff and we raised, I think, $3,000. And I was overjoyed. I thought that
Yeah.
was some damn good, right?
It is.
So that was in the summer. And then we did the walk in September. And then right after, and I had been back to work at that time when I worked for the Riverside Unified School District
Mm-hmm.
as their public information officer. And then in about February of 2009, I get a call from the executive director saying, we need you. Would you please change your career that you're good at and come do something that you're probably going to be good at? And so I said, yeah. And so I joined then to run the walk program.
Mm-hmm.
And then that just went through the students program, the visionaries program until I became an area director. And we were raising millions of dollars. And Evelyn, we did it together,
We
right?
did a little bit of that.
Yeah.
I helped a little. You did a lot.
You helped a lot.
It was
So
great.
that's how that happened.
That's so cool. So it started with you raising $3,000. You brought a group of women, Riverside, you made it happen,
Mhm.
and it's grown. I mean, it's really grown.
It really, really has grown. So we had 12 women the first time. This will be our 9th Survivor Strut. So it's not every year. It's not even every other year. I
Mhm.
like to say it, when the time is right,
It kind of
we
feels
bring
like
out the
when
strut.
I totally get it. I
Yeah.
do understand that. I feel like there's a magic to not having something forced all the time. All the
Yeah.
time, all the time, all the time. It's like, you know
Right.
what? This is a strut year. I can feel that.
Wait a minute. We're going to strut this
This is
year,
a
right?
strut year.
So, so we've had the strut at the Riverside Plaza 3 different times. Twice it was done as part of the Riverside Medical Clinic's team fundraising, right?
Oh,
Because I was
yeah.
on staff, so I wasn't able to really run a private individual event.
Right, because you were
And
already working with LLS. So yeah, it wouldn't make sense.
yeah, and then after, so I had 2 relapses, and here's the thing: Evelyn has done many marathons and half marathons. She's insane, and
Just half
so
marathons.
okay. We were going to be together
Yeah.
in the inaugural Tinkerbell half, the very
Yes.
first Tinkerbell half in
Yes.
Anaheim. And I started, you started training, all of us,
Hmm.
all of our friends were doing it. And I started training. And about 4 or 5 weeks in, I find out I'm relapsing. My cancer is raging back. And then, so I had my first stem cell transplant. And then I was like, okay, let me get through that. And so we're like, let's do it again the next year. Let's do Tinkerbell again. So
Yep.
now I can do it.
Yeah.
Second week of training, raging back. The transplant had failed, and I was prepping for an unrelated donor transplant. And so I've come to the conclusion that running marathons gives me cancer. They
I
ran for
remember,
me.
yeah, I remember thinking, is this a bad luck thing for her? I don't think this is actually crazy. Or is it we just know it's the season. It's as soon as she starts exercising, she notices symptoms. I don't know. No, no.
No
It
way
was
to
a
know.
weird coincidence for sure. I mean, there
Yeah.
was no way. I think at the time I was chairing the man what was called the Man and Woman of the Year competition. I
Hmm.
remember the first time you had relapsed and all of us just like being floored, like that's not allowed. That's not allowed. And here you are
That's not
for
allowed.
no, it's just not allowed. And we all did rally behind you and through all of that. And um,
Can I just jump in and say,
yeah.
two of my prized possessions are the medals from the first and second Tinkerbell half. Piper, who was
Hmm.
our executive director and who's our one of our very, very good friends,
Hmm.
she I'm not going to cry on your
No,
show, but
you
she
can.
ran, you all ran in my honor, you all
Hmm.
did, and she gave me her medals, and they
Yeah.
hang in my closet, which is a whole bedroom. So they have a place of honor with all my clothes.
Yep. Yep, she did. I remember that. And I remember us really pushing hard, like, we got to finish this. It was
Mhm.
all of our very first one. So that was
Yeah.
it was Tinkerbell was my very first initiation into do I even like doing these half marathons? And apparently I did because I did like
Yes,
a
because
ton others later.
late,
But later, but yes. So I remember that, and I remember her going, "This is going to Diane. We're doing this. We're doing this." And we all wore stuff, like with other people's names on it, and you were
right?
inspiring for us all to like get back there, and that's
There you
what's
go.
so
Put me in
cool.
a Red Book magazine.
There it is. You're already there. You're already there. Without the back article yet at that point. Um, why do you, as a cancer survivor, I feel like I already know this answer, but as a cancer survivor, why do you feel like it is so important to amplify the voices of people who have stories similar to yours?
There's one word. There's only one word for this. The word is hope. Hope. I will tell you. Um, Sitting in waiting rooms, sitting in
Yeah.
the chemo suite waiting room, sitting in the clinic waiting room, bald as can be after my transplants,
Yeah.
wait, going to doctor's appointments. Whenever I met someone who was further down the line than I was, whether it be 2 months or 2 years, I literally wanted to touch them and kind of like get some of that juju so
Yeah.
that I could believe. So I
Yeah.
could believe that I too will be 2 months or 2 years or almost now 18 years
Yes.
down the road.
Yes.
That's all. I'd say it. I probably say I'm a four-time cancer survivor probably every day in
Yeah.
some iteration to someone I know, someone I don't know, because it's important to people that they know that there is hope no matter what you're going through. You can do it.
You are the queen of conversation with someone you've never met. And I swear, every single time I have watched you do this, and it's been a lot of times, she loves complimenting people. She'll walk up to somebody and tell them, "Oh my God, this outfit, this is so cute. You look great." You say all the things, and then you spark up. First off, you make their whole day. I've seen it. I've seen it,
Thank
and I've
you.
tried to be like that because I watch you do it, and I go, that just look at that person walking away so much happier than they were before
Hmm.
they met you. And when you tell your story, I feel like everybody gets something from it. Something, if it isn't hope, it's just inspired. How can I
Yeah.
volunteer, right? How can I give back to
Yes.
an organization like the Leukemia Lymphoma Society or Be the Match or any of the others that you've worked with? You've worked with many, many. So
Yes.
volunteering is where I know I have to tell you changed my life. Volunteering
Yes.
changed my life. That's what I tell people all the time. I don't know if it's for everybody, but for me, it is what happened to my life after I started volunteering that
Mhm.
blossomed into wonderful things, helped my career, helped my raising children, helped my marriage. I mean, my husband and I won an award together because we were so dedicated to doing, you know
Mhm.
what I mean? Because
Yes.
it just works into all these different facets of life. Somebody maybe who has never volunteered before and maybe wants to, and maybe is inspired by your story and wants to help with the Survivor Strut. Can they? Can they join you?
Oh my gosh. Yes, let me first say there's every kind of way to make the world better. Whatever little seed of love and interest in your heart, whether it be the environment, whether it be animals, whether it be children, whether it be homeless people, whether it be cancer research,
Mm-hmm.
we all have a place to serve and to make the world better. And as you said, and then we get the benefit because it makes our lives better.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you put out, okay, now I'm going to get all crunchy granola, but this is what I believe. What you project and put out in the world and how you show up in the world is what magnetizes what comes into your world. And so if you're at that high level of frequency, the most amazing things happen and the most blessings happen. So
Mm-hmm.
I would say there's a place for every single one of us. More than one place, probably. So don't get me started. If you're feeling the cancer research side of things, if you're feeling supporting the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society as we do, you can always go to lls.org because you can find out where all the different regions and chapters are. But if you're specifically feeling like coming on board with me and
Yes.
getting involved in our local region, which is San Diego, Orange County, Inland Empire, the desert, it's everywhere.
Yeah.
But we're IE centric, you and I. So we're IE people. There's lots of rules to play within our chapter and lots of fun things you can do. I would suggest Light the Night Walk. You can do that as a family or as a work group. And businesses sign up to support that. And finally, if you'd like to be part of the Survivor Strut Fashion Show, I would love to find an IEHP member, someone who has been served by IEHP, who is a cancer survivor of any kind, to be one of my models. Man, woman, child would be great. Any kind. You can get a hold of me and we will put you in the show. And then if you're not a cancer survivor, because you can't walk the show unless you are in the club
Makes
of cancer
sense.
survivors.
Makes
But there's a
sense.
lot of volunteer needs. I have lots of volunteer needs. And so I'm ready to talk to anybody who would like to talk.
Well, that's okay. That leads perfectly into what I was going to say. If somebody
Yeah.
wanted to be a part of this year's show and strut, so are you still currently looking for models? Or I know
Well,
I call them models. They're cancer survivor models,
right. Strutters.
strutters.
Um, that makes them sound like strippers, though. So,
No,
I'm not doing that.
no,
It's a family friendly thing.
I would hope so.
Right now, you're not going to believe this. I have 26 models
Oh
nailed
my
down.
gosh.
But here's what's great. There are 4 segments to Survivor Strut, and not every model is in every segment.
Yes, got
So,
it.
and that doesn't mean it's going to be a 10-hour show because it's a pop in. We get them in.
Yes.
So,
I've
but am
even
I
seen
open?
you do this on Zoom before and been,
I
like where
know
you
we
did the
did.
whole show on Zoom. And I was like, how did she make this happen?
You know,
You do miracles, I will say that.
we got to videotape at the Dave Classic Car Museum. It's private. And so all of our strutters, our models, strutted down and stood next to these amazing cars. So it was
Mm-hmm.
visually wonderful. But I'm always open to models, right? Right
Mm-hmm.
now, I need more kids. Usually I'm
Oh,
overrun with kids, but I'm looking for like 4 to 6 kids who want to be
nice.
part of our Survivor Strut. And we have the segments are taking care of business. So that's like what you would wear to school or what you would wear to work.
Yeah.
And then there's girls' night out. So it's like go have fun with your friends. Then we have
Yes.
date night. So it's like what you would wear, on a date.
Yeah.
And then our last segment is called the Perfect Disney Day. And the reason for that is the Survivor Strut is actually being held at Garner Holt Productions in Redlands. Garner Holt is an amazing man, and he has done animatronics for every Disney park in the world. And he
So
is opening
cool.
his door to us, just us, to do our event there.
And what's so cool about that as IE natives is it's in the Inland Empire.
He grew up in San Bernardino, went to
So
Pacific High
cool.
School, which I don't hold against him because I went to Cajon High School.
Right, right.
Funny story. So I met Chuck, my beloved, on Match.com, but I also met Garner on Match.com.
Hold on. All right. I did not know about that. Really?
Yeah. Match matched us up. We emailed or texted a couple times, and but we didn't go out. Because Leanne is his woman and she was
Yes.
meant for him, and
Yes.
Chuck is my man and he was meant for me. But
Right.
Garner and I have met through other nonprofit organizations I've worked with, education foundations and things. And with Bob Gurr, the one of Walt Disney's original Imagineers.
Yeah.
So that's how we've met. We've known each other for a very long time.
Match made it happen
Yeah.
in another
There you
way.
go. Brought to you by Match.
So many advertisers. We had no
I know.
idea. That actually cracks me up. Like what a just like a coincidence, but also, so did you originally meet him on Match or did you know him from before?
It all
I'm
happened
curious.
right about the same time. I did not know him from San Bernardino, from growing
Okay.
up in San Bernardino.
Nice.
But when I was on Match after my first marriage ended, in the
Yes. Yeah.
2005 to 2007 range-ish, I was also serving on the board for the Riverside Educational Enrichment Foundation. Bob
Yes.
Gurr's sister was a teacher in our district, and he created an endowment for the Education Foundation,
Yes.
specifically to support teachers who are teaching about new technologies and magic, right? The
Yes.
magic
The
of
magic.
being different. So I knew Bob, and so Bob introduced me to Garner in person,
Mm-hmm.
other than the other thing.
That's a cool story though. That is a fun
Yeah.
little like, did you know? By
Did
the
you know?
way, fun fact. Okay,
Fun
so
fact.
let's talk about the Survivor Strut. Let's get all the details
Let's
out there so everybody can support. The date, what's the date? Where can they buy tickets? All the things.
all the things. Survivor Strut this year is on May 10th, 2025. It's at Garner Holt Productions. And when you go there, it's so cool because you see all kinds of animatronic things, half made, fully made, whatever. And they have the Garner Holt, they have a foundation too. So it's very important to support their work, to bring imagination and engineering opportunities to kids. So it's really important work. Um, it starts at 5 o'clock on
Mhm.
Saturday the 10th. The tickets, there are two ticket levels. The VIP ticket is $100, and your dinner is being provided by BJ's Brewery and the
Yum.
pizza place. Yes. Desserts are being provided by Nothing But Cakes.
Mm.
Yum. And so the VIP ticket is $100. You get VIP seating, you get VIP swag bags, all the things. And then the general admission ticket is $50, and you get all the beautiful dinner and everything like that. You can find out more. We're just about to go live with our website, which is Survivor Strut LLS. That stands for Leukemia Lymphoma Society. Survivor Strut LLS betterworld.org.
Okay.
And on there, you can buy tickets. You can meet all the models. And here's the deal. All of our models have their own fundraising link. So you have the opportunity to support your model. And when I say model, I'm saying model. Okay. We're not
Yes.
models, but it's so fun to do.
Totally get it.
So you can support your model by making a donation online, and you can buy your tickets online, and you can see all of our sponsors too. Because right now, Survivor Strut is presented by Tommy's Angels, which is a beautiful nonprofit. You and I both know
Mm-hmm.
about Tommy's Angels, and we have so many other sponsors and we're getting more every day. We cannot sell tickets until midnight on April 2nd.
Okay, got it.
That's when ticket sales open.
Well, so this episode, just for a little backstory, it launches the 24th of March.
Yep.
So you only have to wait really like a week. So it's not too
Yes.
far. Okay.
Not too far.
Midnight, April 2nd. Now, I
Yes.
know that there's a specific reason behind that, and we can probably give them a little backstory, but you're doing this as part of a greater fundraiser for the Visionaries campaign that the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society puts
Yes.
together, right?
Yes. And actually, we're supporting um, our very good friend, Chris Lee, who has been on the board for LLS for many years. He was diagnosed with the exact type of non-Hodgkin's lymphoma as I was 1 year before me. He has 3 kids who are miracles because they would not be here without the Leukemia and Lymphoma Society. So we are raising money in support of his bid to be the National Man of the Year.
Which I
Yep.
totally think he's going to do. I
Yep.
know that man, and he is determined. And with everybody like you in his corner, oh, that's so cool. And we all say, we kind of joke, we're like, yeah, yeah, we want to be man or woman of the year, but really, it's just because if you win, you raised the most money possible,
Right.
which is the coolest feeling ever.
Because they don't even give you a crown or
Li-
anything. It's not like that.
I complained. I complained.
I know, right? I need a sash or something. But it's just knowing that you set goals and you worked hard and you invited
Yes.
people to
Yes.
join you with their money to raise some money, because the whole idea, particularly behind Survivor Strut, is to celebrate survival, but more importantly, to raise funds to ensure more survival. So if you're
Yes.
unlucky enough to get diagnosed with a cancer, I want you to be blessed enough to survive it, and not just survive it, but thrive and go on to live your life.
Yeah. Yeah. And what's so cool about that particular campaign as well, I know he's going to try to be the national,
Yes.
man of the year, but on the local level, I mean, it really is pared down. You could run right here in our region as a
Yes.
visionary of the year and just raise any amount of money possible
Yes.
during that competition time. And
Exactly.
you don't have to be a cancer survivor to run. In fact, I
No.
wasn't, and I did it
No.
in 2010. I did it in honor of somebody, actually my friend Cindy at the time,
Yeah.
her father who had passed away. And there's so many cool things about that, because not to get all too in the weeds, but you can raise money to hit a portfolio amount where you can, sponsor a specific portfolio for one researcher to continue to work on the progress because
Yes.
it takes money to find these cures. And
Yes.
it's so cool to know that, wow, I raised enough money for this one doctor to just keep going, just to,
Right.
and maybe he or she is going to cure cancer, or like find something that moves us forward.
I always say, I'm not smart like that. I'm a scientist, I'm not a doctor. So I cannot do that work. But
Yeah.
what I can do is I can talk to people. I can tell them about the mission. I can invite them to be part of this fundraising opportunity, and be able to say, I helped save people's lives,
Yeah.
so that we can lock those guys and those women in their labs,
Yeah.
because we have the money to fund it. You do
Yep.
you, I'll get the money.
There it is. You
Yep.
do you, and I will help you get that money. It's
Yep.
beautiful. Really, before I let you go, so
Mhm.
Survivor Strut, May 10th. Tickets will be available on April 2nd at
Yes.
midnight.
Midnight.
I'll put all of this in the show notes.
Perfect.
So that way everybody can get their tickets as soon as they're available, and I'll share and share and share. Before I let you go though, and before I get to my final question, you have some books that are out, and I want
Oh my
you to be
gosh.
able to tell everybody, because I think it's so important for people to know more about your story and know about your positivity and how you get through life every day, because there is someone out there who could use you. I know that.
I'm trying to actually grab a copy of one of my books, um, casually. So, this was my very first book. It's called Lighthearted Life, which is what I'm living because of LLS and other organizations. And it's called Simple Strategies to Live a Joy-Filled Life, Even in Stormy Times. And so I wrote that book. And it has all kinds of scientific research about the things that we can do, how we can think, how we can behave, how we can deal with our hard times
Yeah.
and still find the joy, because two things can be true at the same time. We can be
Mm-hmm.
going through hell and the sun can still shine, right? So, and then my second book is coming out September 1st to coincide with Blood Cancer Awareness Month. And it's called Journey Through Illness, the ultimate guidebook for a trip you never thought you'd take. And the purpose of that book, it's dedicated to Sandra Callahan, who is my unrelated stem cell donor. She lives in Germany. So I say vielen, vielen Dank, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many, many thanks. And it's really to encourage you, because statistically, most of us will be on a journey through illness sometime in our life, whether it's we have an illness or our beloved ones have an illness and we're journeying with them. So I want people to one, be prepared.
Yeah. Yeah.
Two, be to get through that journey well. Do you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? And three, to also to be excited about how it might change you,
Yeah.
because stormy times are here to change you, and you have to allow that to happen. So in the book, we're going to talk about what to pack, like faith and hope, and oh my God, your sense of humor, and who you might meet on the journey, and what it's like for the caregiver, and what you can bring back. Like maybe it's a new purpose or a renewed purpose, or maybe
Yeah.
it's deepest gratitude that you never really thought about before.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's a reconnection with the creator himself or herself. And then
Mm-hmm.
I will also include how to live urgently. That is my motto. Live urgently. I love it because urgently also has the word gently in it. So when I say live urgently, I mean don't waste time. Don't miss it. Don't miss the joy. Say the things that need to be said. But also, it's not like, I'm not saying live like a grind. I'm saying be gentle on yourself too, and on others, because we're here for one another. We're here to connect with people. So be gentle to yourself, be gentle to other people. We never know what they're going through, but live urgently, because I know I'm not here to be fear and doom, but we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know. And we're here now.
That's
So live
right.
it up. Mm-hmm.
That's right.
That's what
I
I say.
love that. And I love live urgently so much. And I love how you highlight gently, because I think that is so important for people to, because we hear the word and you think, okay, yeah, I got to get all the things done. I got to make sure I
You get
say this and I get
stressed,
this. You stress
right?
out, but really the
Mm-hmm.
word isn't a stressful word. It isn't. It's live in that moment, say all the things, get it
Yes.
done, but be gentle with yourself and be gentle with others. And I love that. That is so
Yes.
cool. Very, very good. Okay, final question. And
Okay.
this is just really for those who are here until the end. What are the three key takeaways that you want everybody to live with after hearing this episode?
Okay. I would say number one, um, I'm really big on, I always say this, be careful what you commit to. And I'm not talking about your calendar. I'm talking about in your brain, what do you commit to? So for instance, I have had cancer 4 times. I don't go around saying I have cancer, because the two words I am or I have are the most powerful in our vocabulary. So don't define yourself by whatever your storm is. Be careful what you commit to, because, and remember, two things can be true at the same time, or more than true, too. But you can be in a dark moment. You can be in a painful place.
Mm-hmm.
And also, A flower can bloom. There is joy to be found. A puppy will run up to you. A baby will be born. So hold the truth, hold that truth, because otherwise you can get very despairing, and I don't want that for you. Um, I would say for those of us who are facing or have faced any kind of a journey through illness, pack your sense of humor. Pack your sense of humor, because an illness is not fun, but it can be pretty funny. Can I tell one quick story?
Yeah, go ahead.
When I was recovering from my first stem cell transplant, I was at home. I was still working, but I was working from home before that was a thing, right? Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, so I wore masks before they were a thing too.
Right?
Trendsetter. So I get a telephone call from someone with a magazine. It was Sunset Magazine, okay? And this is good. I love Sunset Magazine, but I had let my subscription lapse because I was just trying to minimize the overwhelm of my life, right?
Yes.
So
Yes.
this young woman had said, "Oh, Mrs. Callahan, we see that your subscription has lapsed, and we want you to come back, and we have a 2-for-1, 2 years for the price of one. And so can we get you back as a subscriber?" I said, "Well, I let my subscription lapse because I'm going through treatment for cancer. And so I just wanted to make things easy." And she said, "Well, we have 6-month subscriptions."
Oh my God. What is wrong with people?
I mean, I laughed. I thought it was the best thing that ever happened that day. And she was so earnest, right? I was like, you're either gonna become the publisher
That's what I was going to
because
say.
you're so awesome.
You're a salesperson through and through.
I know. So I mean, you got to find the funny in life. And you have a podcast this is funner.
Yes.
I mean, so you get it. I'm preaching the
Yes.
choir, but you got to
Yes.
find the funny in
Yes.
life.
You do. You
And
have to.
for a third point, I would say this: for those of us who are dealing with any kind of an illness, there are many medicines besides drugs, right? And I would say a positive outlook, even when it's hard, just to work on a positive outlook is a
Mhm.
kind of medicine. And in the foreword for my first book, my oncologist wrote that is true, scientifically true, that when we can have our mental strength to try to stay positive, not toxic, not false, but just stay open to the hope, we do better. We
Mhm.
survive better. We live better.
We do.
So
We do.
that's what I would tell you.
Yeah, I feel like I could do 700 shows with you because I know that this is like we talked for a long time, but this is the tip of the iceberg when it comes to you and what you have to share with the world and all of the beautiful things that you are doing and all of the seeds you are sowing. And I'm in awe of you always. I'm glad that I can call you my friend, Dianne. And really like true story, Dianne and I, while we met through the Leukemia Lymphoma Society, we have created this small army of women who have not only been amazing fundraisers for this cause, but have become very close personal friends and
Yes.
personal cheerleaders for one another.
Yes.
And I mean, literally, it's a group text that is just the most amazing people. And I'm so
And
grateful. I'm so grateful
in
for that.
this, International Women's Month, right? We just said
Yes.
Women's Day. Women need to support one another. And when we talk about this group, we're talking about powerhouses.
Yeah.
We are talking about CEOs,
Hmm.
senior vice presidents, people who have started their own nonprofits, authors, uh, business owners. Our
Hmm.
friend just had her 1-year anniversary of her business.
Yeah.
Nonprofit executives. Uh,
Yeah.
if we put us when we put us all together, and if we were to look at all the people, the web of all the people we know that we could just kind of call up, it's something,
It's something.
right? We
Yeah.
are something.
Yeah.
This group of women, and I want everybody to have that.
Yeah, I agree. And that's what I
We all
try to
need it.
encourage. Encourage people all the time. Find your group, find your people, because you are who you surround yourself with. And I
Yes.
tell my kids that all of the time, you are who you surround yourself with. Have
Amen.
that key group of people that you know are good and are doing good. and you're
Yes.
golden, and you are golden.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, thank
All
you.
right.
And I can't believe we made it through an entire show with you in a casino with this, and nobody won behind you. I was really waiting. I thought somebody was going to hit the jackpot.
So, but look at, I mean, we promoted Wrap a Candle, and I've got, 34 minutes before I go help her pitch
Yes.
to Shark Tank.
Let me let you go so you guys can go get prepared on all of that stuff.
Okay.
All of the Survivor Strut information will be in the show notes. Until I have you back, maybe to push your book closer to September.
Could you do that?
Yes, we've got
I'd
to talk
love
about it
to
because
do
it
that.
is a wellness book and this is a wellness show. We got to make that happen.
And
So
there's a lot more to talk about.
there definitely is. Thank you,
Yeah.
Diane. Love you so much.
I
And
love
thanks
you
for
so
sharing
much. Thank
time.
you. Okay. See you soon. Bye.
Bye.